Every year, LEGO enthusiasts from around the world gather at Brickslopes to display their biggest, best, and most intricately detailed LEGO models. And today we are looking at the 5 best castles from the convention. Coming in at number 5, we have Whitestone Castle by Corey M. Corey has done an incredible job using color to indicate the depth and flow of the water here. On the beach, we have a couple of minifigures in a fist fight next to these awesome looking shelters. I love the use of the cloth pieces there for the roofs. In the background, we have a band of Wolfpack members, and I really love this log cart that is being pulled by the ox. Alongside the pathway here, there is a larger structure in tan. I love the way that it's come together with the dark red roof, and I imagine it is some sort of inn or tavern where travelers can get food and spend the night during their journeys. Now, if this castle looks a little bit familiar to you, that may be because it is returning for its 3rd year. Each year, Corey has added more and more land surrounding his castle, and more details to the castle itself. I have to admit that this is a really strong contender for the top castle, but it lands itself at number 5 solely due to the fact that it has been featured in previous years. As we move along to the other side of the castle, there is an expanded village here, with villagers working on their farms and going about their day-to-day business. I love the technique for the wheat field used here in the front, with the bars and Technic pins for the top of the stalks. Now, this farmer in the front here has a herd of cattle, and then there's another farmer with a flock of sheep. It's really cool to see all of these animals together in one place. I love the details on this garden area here. The scarecrow turned out really well with some of the different cloth pieces used here. And the farmer himself's looking a little suspicious with kind of a leathery face. And the very corner of the MOC, there's this monastery with some awesome custom printed monks. I really like the bald hairpiece used for the monk in the back, and the book. It's just such a perfect rendition of monks. The monastery itself is relatively simple but effective, and around the back of the monastery you can see a little bit of beekeeping going on with some honey being harvested. But watch out for that bear. At number 4, we have Steadfast Castle by Sean M. This display includes castles for just about every different faction. I really love the use of the gold chain pieces on the white stone wall there, giving a cool curved effect. And check out this awesome lion sculpture. Taking a look behind the castle, there's this really cool functioning windmill, and it's right in front of a tower for the Black Falcons with a cool bird sculpture on top.
Wow!
I do think the overall visual appeal of this display could have been helped by adding some more breathing room around the castles, as it is really quite busy to look at. But the display really does shine when you start taking a closer look at the details. This is the castle for the Crown Knights. I love some of the roof techniques here, using the dark blue pieces with gold. And one of my favorite parts of this castle is the statues of the soldiers out front with their shields and their swords. I think those turned out really nice. Moving along to the side here, we have a moving kind of ship, medieval ship, that's been motorized to move back and forth. Pretty cool technique. And then we have some dragon knights who look like they're off to some type of battle or other function there. This tower is the Wizard's Tower, so you can see all sorts of astronomy type things and different statues out front. There's a Necromancer Tower there in black, and then the Dragon Knight Castle is this green castle on the left here. I love this little detail with a dragon blowing fire on people in their little boat. And then the dragon statue itself out front is really cool. On the side of the build, he's included all sorts of neat details. This is the Necromancer Tower. It's got some skeletons. They're doing some type of awakening there, it seems like. And then there's some ghosts. I love the lime green slime in the bottom level there. Kind of a cool little idea here. And then the leftmost side, there's some other Easter eggs here. There's kind of a Chinese, maybe samurai little castle, and then there's some cavemen and Master Chief. Coming around the back of the display, this is really where some of the details shine through. Literally here with this treasure room, you can see there's all sorts of treasures and even a throne made of swords. On the next level up, you have all of the black falcons going about their business. And here is kind of an awesome technique for a chandelier. Just really good interiors here. This castle probably has my favorite interior. Down at the very bottom you have a dungeon with the classic Slave Leia minifigure there being tortured. And then you have an awesome kind of great hall with a feast. I love the flags used there for the crowned lions. And then you've got the king and the queen at the head table. Up top is the throne room with another awesome chandelier and with these knight statues. And then up in the top is the king's bedroom. My favorite part of the king's bedroom is behind the bed you can see a small version of the Yellow Castle, which is one of LEGO's original castles. So up top there's a bell in the bell tower. And then the bottom you've got a cellar for food and drinks. A kitchen on the floor just above it. And then this is kind of a fun part with the jesters making music and merriment for the king. And just a few other details. Up here is a tomb for a historic knight, I'm sure. And then the rightmost tower we have the wizard's tower. So there's all sorts of things going on here. Some potion making. Looks like studying some maps and different things. This is the wizard's library with another beautiful chandelier here. And inside the library they have all sorts of cool details with different spell books. And even on the left side here there's some neat looking scrolls. Some type of skeleton. And then they have this awesome looking spiral staircase that takes you up to a statue of a spaceman. On the right side there is what I imagine is kind of their different things used for potions, and then up above that is their astronomer's tower. So really details shining through. Then on the leftmost side you have the forestmen's portion. So they have a kind of tree house, and then below them there is quite a bit going on. So right underneath the forestmen, we've got some dwarves doing some mining. I really love the use of the woolly mammoth. He's kind of their pack animal beast, doing a lot of their work for them. And then the skeleton here is really, really well made. I love that skeleton in the side of the mountain there. Looking a little over, there's a lot of other details here for the dwarves. You can see the dwarf throne room, and then underneath that is the dwarven treasury, I guess. So a lot more gold and silver. If you're enjoying this video, please check out the builders. I've linked all of their social medias in the description below. Taking the third spot is Ogre Dundane's Orc Raid. True to his nickname, Ogre Dundane has amassed a huge collection of ogres, orcs, trolls, and the like, and has created a massive battle with the orcs storming the castle. He even has a few of those awesome blue trolls from the Lord of the Rings. I love the way that he's created all sorts of different siege weapons and siege towers for the orcs to be attacking the city walls. And it looks like the Black Falcon Knights here are in serious trouble. One of my favorite parts of this build is the breach in the wall here, where the orcs are all storming through. I love the kind of crumbling effect that he has made here with the wall. And you see the orcs are going to make it through, and the defenders are going to have their hands full trying to stop them. The castle itself is pretty impressive. It's cool to see all of the windows that he has from that large window piece. And then there's a big army of black falcons on horse and on the walls just trying to defend. Overall, a really great build by Ogre Dundane. In the second slot is Stonehaven Castle by Marvin and Sarah, the Peace Remover on Instagram. I really love the use of all the different vegetation and colors here. You have kind of the pine trees that are evergreen that make use of this relatively new fern piece, and it turns out really good. So the fern piece is stuck upside down, and then lots of them are used. Here you've got some seagulls attacking a man with a hot dog on the beach. Classic. And then I love all of the fall colors he has on the rest of the trees. In the middle of kind of the town square area, there's a few interesting things going on. You see the Lion King there hitting on the corncob woman, and then there's a sword fight on top of the roof there. Coming around to the castle, I love that it's built on kind of a rocky outpost here. It's cool to see some of the stone work there. My favorite part of the castle itself is the beautiful Tudor style towers, like kind of the top pieces of the towers. Here we have some goats eating some wheat, and then you can see that the farmer is very shocked and surprised at this, as you can imagine. There's the king and the queen alongside one of their minions. Overall, I think that Marvin and Sarah did an awesome job on this castle. Before we get to the top slot, I have to give a shout out to all of the amazing castles that were present at Brickslopes this past week. There were so many awesome castles that it was very difficult to choose a top 5. I'd like to give honorable mention to Stud Hallow, done by Christien G and Shade A. It's really cool to see some of the motorized things happening here with a ghost and a witch, some bats. I love the different techniques used for the roofs here. There's a curved piece roof. This might be my favorite roof technique here, where it uses the Lego chair piece put upside down and at an angle to make shingles. Overall, a really cool job by Christien G and Shade A. I love the graveyard and the church here on the right as well. And now for the number 1 castle, we have Overlook Castle, a huge collaborative build made by members of the Denver LEGO users group. This castle has an awesome village out front and a huge forest to the side of it. Taking a closer look at the village, you can see all sorts of different stories going on here with a ship out front at the dock and some villagers milling around. If you take a closer look into this purple lit building, you can see that there's maybe a tavern of sorts in here. It was kind of difficult to tell what was going on. Maybe a tavern or a store of magic here, I don't know. Out front of the castle there is a motorized joust. It was not turned on at the time, but pretty neat. And then the castle itself uses kind of a cool technique with the gray and tan for kind of the weathered bits. Coming along the side of the build, one of my favorite parts is that cathedral next to the castle. You can see some really cool stained glass work there. And then out front here there's a dock. And you can just see all of the many buildings with villagers, just a bustling city going on inside of the city walls here. Again, this cathedral is just magnificent with some bell towers and then some awesome stained glass. It's really cool to see the lighting there. It really puts makes the building pop. As you go outside of the city walls, you can see quite a few things going on. There is a pig man with his pig cohorts there. All sorts of different trees, and if you look closely, you'll spot Little Red Riding Hood with the big bad wolf. As we continue through the forest, you can see there is a forest man's hideout of sorts there, with a giant fluorescent looking lake out front. The forestman's hideout itself is pretty cool. It's got like a treehouse type of vibe to it, and then it's got a building attached to that treehouse. In the back you can see a waterfall with another little hideout that we'll see when we come around the back there. And then on the side of this build, there's kind of this huge keep type of thing, like a big mansion that looks really, really cool. The mansion itself was almost as big as the castle, I would say, and it's just really cool to see the different style here and how it contrasts with the castle. I love the use of the Tudor style on the mansion, and then you can see there's a few different things going on with the trees and the people next to the mansion. On the back side of the waterfall, there's a little hideout where people are mining gold. So you can see some cool stalactites, stalagmites there. And then as you continue on to the back side of the forest, there's some awesome looking pine trees and some large trees. There's a couple princesses. I'm not sure what they could be discussing here, but there's the pink aristocrat lady, and then the build a minifigure princess in white and lime. On the back side of the village, there's quite a few different details going on. So there's kind of a tavern looking building here, and then there is maybe a necromancer making an army of the undead. And then the back side of the cathedral is also really cool. You can see some more stained glass work. I love the way that they've used cheese slopes to create kind of a star pattern. As you continue through the city, I love all of the different pathways and the minifigures set up to make the city look like it's bustling around. The castle itself, the interior is relatively incomplete, but they've got a few minifigures set up here. They've got this kind of cool fountain with lighting, and then they've got a couple of these rare dragons from older LEGO sets in green and then also in black on the other side here. I love the kind of lava that's lit up here. I'd love to do something like that one day. Then on this other side of the castle, there's a little blue gem mining operation going on here. Overall, DENLUG did a really awesome job putting together such a huge collaborative build. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more awesome LEGO castles, check out the video on the left. And if you want to see other epic LEGO creations, check out the video on the right.